Hey, it's Jason. I'm in Malvern, Pennsylvania, where Becky and Zach just finished up a project about 3 days ago. I knew Zach was out here just doing a couple finishing touches, and I wanted to stop out, take a look, and show you. What's up, Jason?
What's up, dude?
How are you?
Good to see you.
Man, this is awesome. I can't believe this thing was just finished 2 days ago. It looks like it's been here forever.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. That's absolutely right. Nice job. What a natural looking water feature that just has so much detail and so many cool elements. I'm blown away.
I'm stoked. I want to kind of go over some of the details that we did on this because we put a lot of heart and time into this one, and I don't think the customers could have been any happier with it.
That's awesome. So I can tell already that you had definitely some challenges with getting in here, and you had to almost build it backwards.
Completely upside down. We had some big rocks. We had a bigger machine, had smaller access. Typically we want to start with the pond and then build our elevations up. In this case, if we built the pond, we'd have nowhere to put the machine. So we had to start off with this patio here, make sure all of our elevations were perfect for steps, waterfalls, interaction zones, and everything to meet out at a nice grade where everything looks like it would have been here, and again, I built the house around it.
You were just saying, I can see that you ran into some challenges that you had to build the top first, and that's actually a lot harder to, not only to construct, but also to visualize because your elevations are just totally different. It's totally backwards than what we're used to.
It's writing with your left hand in space upside down. It's kind of the best way to explain how this was figured out. Also, there was this guy was right here in the middle of this waterfall that had to come out. We could have done some things. It would have been a totally different project. There would have been a lot of lost potential if we couldn't get this stump out. Grinding it wasn't an option on the hill with the boulders that were in the way and the plants that we were trying to save. So this was a lot of surgery. You can kind of take a look, see some of the cuts and the surgical sawzawing that we had to do to get this out without disrupting the house, the foundation, or the plants around it.
How long does the whole project take?
So total from start to finish, including the landscaping, which just got done, I think we're about 12 days. So it was about 2.5 working weeks with a little bit of weather and some pauses. But start to finish, we were in the customer's hair, bothering them with loud equipment for 2 weeks.
One of the neatest things about water features is how interactive you can make them, and I just love how you have the feeding rock over top the pond, but it's not just that. You got the stepping stones that walk across it and up across the bridge 2 more times, actually, once, twice, which is really neat to just interact, walk around. Kids love to get down next to the water, and it just makes it really, really cool.
This entire thing changed, the dynamic changed. Originally we were gonna have the staircase turning right here, walking down the steps, pretty much like a 90-degree, a nice landing, and then a straight run down following the house line. Just felt like that was going to be a little bit too contrived. It was going to be really steep, and you were just going to be looking at the waterfalls kind of to the left while you're looking down. So it's kind of a safety issue too. So we just decided, if we can move this one roadie over here, we'll have enough space that we can kind of cross in and out and, like you said, interact with the feature.
Some of the detail that you put into the stream is awesome. Everything from some of your stack stone look to your moss, and then anytime that you can incorporate any other wood elements or anything like that, it just makes it look really cool.
Yeah, and it doesn't work on every project to use this much wood, but when your backdrop is literally woodlands, where some of these pieces actually came out of this area.
Right.
This stump here came right out of there. We popped it out, cleaned it off, turned it upside down, ran water through it, pocketed it with some plants, getting some plants inside of some of the holes in the stumps, and just trying to make it look like things have been growing in this thing for years rather than just the past 2 days.
Oh man, so the stream looks awesome. I know that there's gonna be a whole different vantage point from down by the pond. Wanna go check the pond out?
Yeah, let's go see it.
All right.
first time Zach and I spoke on the phone that we shared a vision. I've been a pond owner in the past, and this particular piece of property was just a natural for what we tried to accomplish here and did accomplish. And I just knew that Zach could do something special with this piece of property. And then when we went to the Oaks home show and saw what he did on a concrete slab, I was absolutely convinced that he was the one to do this job. He and his team have been nothing but special in their attention to detail and their communication, and it was collaborative in many respects, but I let him do his thing because he's the expert. But I'm also a big believer that you hire experts and let them do their things. When you give somebody who's an artist, because this is really artistry, the freedom to do what they want to do. I mean, he convinced us to change a few things that maybe I wouldn't have thought to do or wanted to do, but it turned out to be the right thing, and that's why you hire people who are experts at what they do and you let them do their thing. Regardless of what you have in a backyard, it's not just a pond. I used to say I have a pond. This is an extension of our living space. This is really an oasis. I think it's a masterpiece what he accomplished, he and his team accomplished. It couldn't be happier.
Wow, that's a whole different vantage point from down here. This is an 11 by 16 pond. This is the most common size that we install. One of the reasons that this is one of my favorite size ponds is because it fit just about anywhere.
Right.
And they're not small enough that you want to pull them out in a year or two, but they're not so big that they take up, huge amounts of space either. So 11 by 16 pond is the most common size that we install.
Yeah, they're big enough to give us as a team enough space to get really, really creative too. You can get a lot of 11 by 16's got a lot of gallons per inch, and that gives us enough to do some really cool waterfalls and some elongated streams that we just can't really capture with an 8 by 11.
Yep.
But one of the things I like that we did in this pond was kind of breaking up some of the really big rock. We did some stacked stone work, in between, so it wasn't just all monotonous and rocky and waiting for plants to kind of come in to cover some sins. Obviously the driftwood and the sedum and the detail of stuff that we put into it.
Yeah, the way that you got the plants coming out of the wood over there and then the moss blending over top of that. And I noticed that one of the biggest challenges with ponds and landscaping them is your water levels, and most plants really only like wet roots. So I noticed that you put a really nice plant shelf in over here that allows the plants to be shallow, but it's still part of the pond, and then it's very deep around it. So it gave you a really nice shelf to put some plants on. And then obviously your water lilies and all that kind of stuff can go deeper.
So this pond is 30 inches deep at the lowest point and then shelves out from there to get different plants at different elevations.
Really cool fish feeding rock. That's got to be the first thing you notice, huh?
Yeah. This is the last thing we put in.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was a detail that we wanted to kind of surprise. We didn't talk about this with the customer at all. It was the very last thing we popped in before we started sealing everything up. And he keeps saying this is his favorite, this is his favorite, this is his favorite, but I do think this is his favorite rock.
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, definitely. When we can cantilever them out just like you did and get the water level really up close to your feet, and gives that fish a place to hide, and they always pop out underneath. A fish feeding area is really an item to consider.
Yeah, it gives you something to do with your ponds.
Well, I love everything, but I have to say this cantilever rock is just a thing of beauty. You feel like you're in the pond. We don't have fish in it yet, but the fish will be coming in another couple of weeks. And it's going to feel like you're in there with them, very easy to enjoy them and feed them and just sit on the bench or any other vantage point that we have. But this, if you ask me my favorite, the cantilever rock is my favorite.
This served a couple other purposes too, other than just feeding the fish and giving you a dynamic look, to the deepest part of the pond. But we've got vantage points that we needed to capture through the whole entire project, from the house, the deck, the lower patio, the upper patio, and we have lights in here. And so when you've got that many perspectives, a lot of people ask, how can we just throw some lights in? It's a pretty complicated process to make sure that you're not blinding people. So this rock actually served as hiding a lot of the brightness so we could light the pond without interrupting your vision from the top. So
yeah, that's definitely experience and taking some things into consideration there. Exactly what Zach is saying is whenever we install some lights, you don't want to be able to see the light in your eyes. Your challenge with this one is we have vantage points almost all the way around, so you had to do different things to camouflage that.
So with this being a unique, challenging environment, it's kind of the first time we tackled a lot of the challenges on this project. I'm really happy with how it came out. What do you think?
Yeah, you did a great job. And if you have any questions, please put it in the comments below. Please remember to like and subscribe. And until next time, keep building your outdoor dreams.